And now, it's the Moods of Sunday Night with Anthony Ochoa, a production of Bolsa Chica Radio.
Welcome to the Moods of Easter Night. The Moods of Easter Night is a program of rebirth and enlightenment that'll help you look forward to see the resurrection of your life. Easter, the resurrection of the Savior of the world, is not only a time forever marked in history, as Christian pilgrims look steadily upon the Sunday morning that changed the hearts of the faithful, but for some, it's a time of retrospect, reflection, and self-discovery of who you are in the now today and who you might become to be in your tomorrows through Jesus Christ. Easter to some is the most important religious feast in the Christian liturgical year. It marks the belief that Jesus was resurrected from the passing 3 days after his death. It also refers to the season of the church year known as the Eastertide. It marks the end of Lent, a time of prayer and penance, but starts with the octave of Easter, or Laud Sunday, the first word of the sequence of the day. In Latin, it's Laud Salvatori vox modulamur supplici. In English, let us sing praises to the Savior with a humble voice. Easter can be a praise to God, giving him a thankful heart, so that we might see us conform into his Son, into his daughter, and into his child. So let's start to fill ourselves tonight to understand that ascension right here on the Moods of Easter Night. No heart too broken, no sky too black, for love to reach down and claim them back. He said, when he saw your face and fell in love with you that day, a child abandoned there by some twist of fate. And when your world tumbled down, he loved you anyhow. Good Friday, Monday, Thursday, and Easter Sunday don't tend to lend ourselves too much to think and ponder on those who have no home, no belongings, no one to speak of, and no one to cry with. The ongoing week-long celebrations of resurrection and new life for the religious-minded, and Easter eggs, chocolate bunnies, and basket of goodies for the secular, somehow, perhaps by default, put a gray damper of thoughts for the have-nots, those old without care, and child without parent, and mother without womb, and father without seed. The ever-longing and deep feeling we have, deep down inside, to hold, nurture, touch, and care for, is an instrument that God added to the framing and human makeup of ourselves in this cohabitating world we live, toil, and grapple in. As the week of Eastertide gives us memory of how the Christ child was born, died, buried, and then forever risen from the ruins, this story just might help us to bring back to mind that no heart is too broken and no sky is too black for love to reach down and claim them back. Because you rose from the ruins to the house of a king who gave you his name. You rose from the ruins to a palace of gold in the sun. Listen and hear love say, "You are my beautiful one."
Beautiful one, he said when he saw your face, and he fell in love. There on that day, a child abandoned there by some twist of fate. Your world had tumbled down, but he loved you anyhow, and you rose from the ruins to the house of a king. He gave you his name. From the ruins to a palace of gold in the sun. Listen, you'll hear love say, "You're my beautiful one." Beautiful one. Nobody wanted you. Love proved them wrong, foolish and blind. You are the hidden jewel that the fools never find, and in a stranger's disguise, love found you by surprise, and you rose from the ruins to the house of a king who gave you his name. From the ruins, on wings lifted high out of the flames. From the ruins to a palace of gold in the sun. Listen, you'll hear love say, "You're my beautiful one." No heart too broken, no sky too black, but his love can reach down and claim them back. And you rose from the ruins to the house of a king who gave you his name. From the ruins, on wings lifted high out of the flames. From the ruins to a palace of gold in the sun. Listen, you'll hear love say, "You're my beautiful one." Listen, you'll hear love say, "You're my beautiful one." saw the light as the earth disappeared, and it was happening, I knew. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. Floating through the air, sailing silently across the sky. East and west, north and south, gathered up in the twinkling of an eye. He came for the ones who were watching, knowing he was due. Far below on the ground where I'd stood, there were those behind that moon. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. Many times I have thought how it might be. We'll be changed in an instant, set free. Home we'll go. We can talk and there'll be no sorrow. It could happen today or tomorrow. I don't know. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. Many times I have thought how it might be. We'll be changed in an instant, set free. Home we'll go. We can talk and there'll be no sorrow. It could happen today or tomorrow. I don't know. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away. It's gonna come one day when I'm caught away.
Walking in a dream that I know is never going to end. In a moment I was gone, and it's like no other place I've ever been. Taken like the wind, through a sea of swirling clouds I flew, and I saw the light as the earth disappeared. And it was happening, I knew. Going way back to the spring of 1983, Benny Hester in his portrayal of God's coming kingdom as being caught away. Singer-songwriter Bill Batstone ahead of that with a timely look of how being rose from the ruins can surely beautify your average Easter holiday weekend. Anthony Ochoa here on the Moods of Sunday night for that aforementioned time of holiday season. And speaking of the works of the lofty singer-songwriter, you know, it's always good to hear the true account behind the story or the song, the real reason why they penned it down to stone, parchment, or paper, or just typed it into their handy-dandy iPad. I have a song with me here today, hot off the press, as they say, that we'll be hearing in just a few short moments. But as I threw myself into this work, I knew I owed it to those listening tonight the true backstory of this phenomenal yet humble and quaint composition known as If It Must Be. And so it shall. With me here at the table is one of the authors of today's special song of the Easter story, James Gray, who is no stranger to the Sunday night program. James Gray.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing?
Pretty good. We had a couple of your songs on Sunday night when you did a duet with Andrea Hamilton.
Yes, Andrea. We did a Christmas song, Waiting for Christmas Morn.
One of the things I've noticed, James, that over the years, as you write, you do a lot of, what do they call it? Cohabitant authoring.
Collaborative
authoring. Yeah. You share your skills with other singer-songwriters.
Yes.
Such as you did with a song called If It Must Be. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, If It Must Be was a song that was born from a collaboration with Tyrone Wells, and Tyrone's a recording artist and a dear friend.
Yeah.
And we've written for about 10 years now. So what we did with If It Must Be is we got a request from a church called Seacoast out of Cypress, California, and they were looking for a song for their Easter service.
Yeah.
And they were pretty specific about what they would want to have, and so we went to work with that. And oftentimes we enjoy having an assignment or having the parameters a little defined, and so we raised our pens with that.
Now, being in Christian music radio for, I think, 2,000 or 3,000 years, mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of Easter songs. Mm-hmm. There's been a whole slew of them written over the years. How is If It Must Be? And I know it's different because I've heard the original demo recording, mm-hmm. but explain to me the take of this song and how it's just a little bit different from some of the masterpieces of years past.
Well, what we loved about this song, when you talk about the collaborative effort, we write with guitars or sometimes other instruments, but it just kind of creates as we explore and share our feelings. The spirit of the song took off when we liked the idea, if it must be, of Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane, really reflecting a lot of humanness before he was going to be taken away and crucified.
That's what I like about this, the humanness of it all.
The humanness. As songwriters, and as they talk shop, it's not so much what you say, but what you don't say that's important. So we didn't want to make it, the assignment called for it not to be leading into the hope and the victory of the resurrection, but wanted to keep that snapshot of Christ all alone and praying to Father Abba, if you can't take this cup from him, take it. But if you can't, then so be it. I think we felt extremely satisfied on a personal and a professional level with the song.
From the pen and parchment of James Gray and Tyrone Wells. Tyrone Wells on the lead vocal, If It Must Be, right here on Sunday night.
Ask them twice and then again. To stay awake with me, but they're not listening. The garden's dark and now my sorrow's deep. I've come to show the world the way. But now I'm on my knees, uncertain and afraid. Take this from me, Abba, please. If it must be, if this cup is for me, Father, give me strength. This is more than I can face, but I will take their place if it must be. if it must be. No one hears me now but you. And though I know what you are asking me to do, my spirit's willing, but my flesh is weak. If it must be, if this cup is for me, Father, give me strength. This is more than I can face, but I will take their place. Father, give me strength. If it must be, if this cup is for me, Father, give me strength. And would you cover them with grace? I will take their place if it must be. If it must be.
At the beginning of the first century, hope for the Messiah or a king burned in the hearts of many people. Ancient prophecies, the Psalms and the writings of the prophets all proclaimed the coming of a promised deliverer. Divergent views about what the Messiah would be and do were quite common. Some thought he would be a great teacher, and still others, a resurging prophet of old. Many expected him to be like King David, who would overthrow the Roman overlords and reestablish the glory of Israel. Basing their belief on prophecies that were penned hundreds of years past, many were convinced that the time was now, very near. It was the brief ministry of John the Baptist who focused on the one who was born of humble origins, the one called Jesus, whose ministry was supported by great signs and beautiful wonders. His divinity was accepted by some and still rejected by others. Some back then came only to eat, and others to be entertained by the healings and stunning miracles. And still today, much has not changed. We come for the spectacular and leave when the humanity of it all no longer pricks at our senses and lines our feelings with great emotion. Like many Christians who live in this very cynical and progressively changing environment, you too may have had a hard time figuring out how to incorporate the traditional Easter story into your own world of great loss, perpetual pain, and struggling personal faith experience. I once read a story of how an author was able to more clearly see the meaning of the journeying two travelers on the Emmaus Road, and how the power of that story can still remind us today that the risen Christ still journeys with us, whether we realize it or not, and continues to come to us over and over again. For we all meet and see Jesus in one way or another, on the face of other people like us, struggling to keep their eyes on the road, but very often we, like the disciples, don't even recognize him at all. I myself take one or two steps back when I quickly and carelessly refer to this 3-day weekend we're now at the end of as being just another one of our country's religious holidays. The deepening and self-discovering path we've been on during the week of the Eastertide may just, if we let it, garner us better understanding of the Last Supper of Maundy, Thursday, the passion and death of Christ on the cross on the Friday after, and the holy third day commemorating new life, a promise, a miracle, an ecstasy, which is power over death by a Savior, which is something that we cannot render unto ourselves. And now, a selection of Easter poems. Gethsemane, Garden of Remembrance. Our salvation tied around your neck. Brave defender, a true redeemer, in whose hands our fate rests as yet. Golgotha, the place of the death and skull. Your mighty sorrow needling as pains of love. You spoke the words that changed our fate, your eyes glaring to heavens above. A bitter cup, yet quiet heart of strength, of love, joy, and peace. A perfect prince, a king of kings. May our hearts be silent and meek. As he awaited certain end, but for the world he had a plan. The pain of death you bore with strength, the transgressions of every man. As a painful crown was set into place, a salvation gift was sealed, that as we give our hearts and tears to you, the wounds of death are healed. And as we squander our days in hopeless despair, and from our problems we chase and run, may you grant us, O Lord, the strength of heart to pray, not my will, God, but yours be done. An Easter poem, number 2. These are the letters to which a poet wrote, as they bargained and bidded with a bloodied note, bowing his head in secret and compart, as he sits with the brawlers of the auction mart. How much for each separate piece of clothing, quote, as my fearful and sickly eyes began to gloat. The merchant's price will steal and take apart, as they break the center of a poet's heart. Dice for the garments of a wretched man, not knowing the God of wonders or his sacred plan. Neither the sun of morning nor the gray of night can instill a flame to squelch his fright. It was once said that many years ago, a wrangling for his clothes was taken to throw. And in a far eastern town, some soldiers ran with torches through, the midnight began. So I still lay broken with despair as my dreams and hopes are dashed beyond repair, watching the ones who tore my Savior apart as they broke the center of this poet's heart. An Easter poem, number 3. Holiness is everywhere around you. A radiance aglow is because it is. Perhaps you have not seen its light within you. Perhaps you think your passion less than his. Yet you have all the radiance of being, even as you wait upon his name. All have the capacity of seeing such glory as no moment can sustain. Time requires death and resurrection, a title of deed given to all that wane, even as each being now in perfection, reeling beyond the realm of loss and pain. An Easter poem, number 4. Grant us all the peace of understanding. Make known to us all that is here. Happiness or weeping notwithstanding, the point of your whole plan is far from clear. If you are perfect, then why do we wrong your creation, replete with hunger, torture, lust, and greed? And why did you suffer on the cross for our salvation? I understand the end, but not the result in the need. And why does a perfect being need a sun and a heaven, a purpose, a place, a priest, and a prayer, that no statue or star, no sea or haven, can speak forth the truth or a timeline declare? It may take a sequence of tangled routes to reason me through a lifelong of doubts. But could it be your perfection my eyes may someday see, the reality of love for you and yours for me? Easter poem number 5. The distant called and departed dead, the so far gone without presence today, shine us memories of hope, of words once said, of their legacy of life and their chosen way. Every love redeems a bit of grace, so does Christ's passion and truth reveal, rejoicing in our love as we embrace that God Himself, His love we feel. Even though the earth is sunk in sadness, and those by Him watched Him die, serenity like music calms this madness, touching us with truth that needs no eye. And every soul in fear and trembling waits to see the reason drawn in one last ecstasy. And now a final poem of Easter. Even though passions are common as rain, and we must pass by as God's children are in pain, it's a tough hurdle to be a beast of sober, a carrier of pain, on a bridge that crosseth over. Even as we do our best at living, and at times looking away at others' misgiving, if we sup from a cup of blood and strife, redemption is formed in us in way of new life. The tomb of Christ is but the bed, the flower of spring, a blossom head. Our body in tomb and flesh decay, a call to redeem us from earth and pain. Bestow our faith that when we die, our soul like His shall not long lie. For Christ shall live, I've heard it said, when Easter morning come and rose from dead. What is it like to be, like the poem just mentioned, risen from the dead? What is it like to be taken under and cast down like a broken limb? In this very apathetic, chaotic, and neurotic universe we dwell in, some of us are never really given that special second chance. And now, this calls to be seen, where there was no reason, but now there is plenty. And where entered was death and sleep, somehow has become empty. And against the walls where you were caught, and down the street of your afflictions, there can now be a happier reign, a more pleasant gray surprise that you, Lord, are alive, that you, Lord, are alive. So, next time, remember when thou art taken under, it's underneath indeed, where the reasons become into the now of a tomb that has become empty.
Where there was no reason now, there is plenty. And tired is death and better than the first time. We didn't know. Against a wall, and now I'm caught. And down the street, I am afflicted. And there was never a happier rain, a more pleasant gray. Surprise, you are alive. And this is taking me under. This is taking me under.
I'm Anthony Ochoa, and thank you for tuning in to the Moods of Easter Night. The Moods of Easter Night is a program of rebirth and enlightenment that'll help you look forward to see the resurrection of your life. Easter, the resurrection of the Savior of the world, is not only a time forever marked in history, as Christian pilgrims look steadily upon the Sunday morning that changed the hearts of the faithful, but for some, it's a time of retrospect, reflection, and self-discovery of who you are in the now today and who you might become to be in your tomorrows through Jesus Christ. Easter to some is the most important religious feast in the Christian liturgical year. It marks the belief that Jesus was resurrected from the passing 3 days after his death. It also refers to the season of the church year known as the Eastertide. It marks the end of Lent, a time of prayer and penance, but starts with the octave of Easter, or Laud Sunday, the first word of the sequence of the day. In Latin, it's Laud Salvatori vox modulamur supplici. In English, let us sing praises to the Savior with a humble voice. Easter can be a praise to God, giving him a thankful heart, so that we might see us conform into his Son, into his daughter, and into his child. We hope you've been able to have yourselves be filled tonight to understand that miraculous ascension right here on the Moods of Easter Night.
The Moods of Sunday Night with Anthony Ochoa was a production of Bolsa Chica Radio.